Good morning, Janet. Thanks so much for coming in. It's really wonderful to be able to sit down and discuss some ways that we can address some of the concerns that we've got for Finn in the 7A mathematics classroom. Really glad to be working towards some opportunities that'll hopefully have Finn achieving really well. So to start off, we'll just do a quick recap on the strengths and concerns that we've mentioned previously. So Finn's a really fantastic student with maths. He's got a great conceptual understanding of mathematics, but the issues that he has is that he has messy handwriting and often rushes through his work. So his written communication isn't that great, but his verbal communication is really good. He's often pretty distracted in the classroom, fidgeting and up and out of his seat, and this is a concern because he's distracting others. So I sort of feel like if he had more time in his seat, he would be achieving a bit better, and some other students would be as well. So this isn't abnormal behaviour for a student with inattentive or hyperactive ADHD. It's very normal that they would be spending time up and out of their seat. So there are definitely strategies that we can put in place to try and address these. So I've come up with 3 teaching practices to address issues that I sort of see him having. So I sort of see him having difficulties with executive functions, which is the ability to use memory, particularly of procedures, which is a big one in maths. Organising and planning, I see that he's got some behavioural, there's some concerns there that we could sort of work towards, and then academic as well. So he could be achieving a bit higher if he had some more support that we're happy to provide for him. So the first teaching practice is to try and do more group work, and in that group work students will have specific jobs that they've got to do. So I think this will be really great for Finn, as he's quite social, he's got great friends in the classroom, and his verbal communication is really great. So I think that that'll be more engaging for him, that'll sort of pull him in and want him to get into the work. And if some of the roles in the group work specifically target things that he might want to improve on, and if he's supported by peers while working in those roles, I think that we'll be able to address some of his issues. So I'm thinking one of the roles could be working as a scribe. So there'll be 4 roles and they'll rotate each week. So he won't be doing it all the time, which is good as well, that we're not constantly sort of forcing him to do something that he obviously doesn't like doing. But in saying that, he does need to work on his handwriting. So if he's scribing, he'll have worked out how to solve a mathematical problem with his group, and then while he's writing, his group will sort of be able to peer tutor him in an effective way to communicate. So I've sort of thinking, I've got a few students in mind that he might work really well with, and these students will support him really well. There are other roles, but that's sort of the main one that'll help him out. The second teaching practice, simple procedural checklists. So rather than relying on memory to recall procedures that are used to execute different mathematical procedures, we could probably print off and laminate some sort of procedures for different typical sort of mathematical problems. So as he's going in his book, he'll be able to check off, yep, I've done this step, I've done that step, I've done this step, and now I know that I've done all of the steps, and I've communicated those through text to the person who'll be reading the work. So I know that I've done enough to communicate clearly. So I think that that'll be another good one for him. And then the final teaching practice is a check-in and check-out process. So in this check-in, check-out process, I think the 3 of us could meet up and discuss some goals and some rewards, and form a learning contract for Finn. And so I think that you guys on your end could be more in charge of the rewards, and all together we'll come up with the goals, and then it'll be my responsibility in the classroom to be checking in with Finn when he gets to the class to see what we're going to be working towards and stating how we're going to monitor our progress, and then checking out to sort of say this is what we did well, this is what we could have maybe done better, and this is what the future goals are going to be. So I think that I could check in with you every 2 weeks to let you know how progress is going, and Finn could check in with you after we do the check-in, check-out process every maths lesson. Thank you very much for coming and meeting with me, and looking forward to discussing the progress that we're going to have with Finn. All the best.